They're into the second round already as we set up Heat 4, Courtney Conlogue up against Bronte Macaulay and Coco Ho. They're into the second round already as we set up Heat 4, Courtney Conlogue up against Bronte Macaulay and Coco Ho. Will we see an upset result here, Ross?
Bronte apparently has been tearing it up during the free surf, so she's definitely one to keep an eye on. We know she's not there with the red jersey. Courtney, obviously way up there on the ratings, Courtney Conlogue. But watch out for Bronte.
And while we're at the break, Bronte had this ride, Ross.
Yeah. Her father, one of the absolute stars throughout the 80s and 90s, Dave Macaulay. So it's in her DNA, it's in her blood. And she absolutely went for it on that closeout snap right on the inside. Very shallow reef right there. So I love the effort from Bronte, but obviously she went down. So that's not going to really go into her top two. And Coco Ho, one of the best techniques and styles on tour. We're talking about that backhand attack and what makes it so kind of functional. She is a great example, Ronnie. She has a beautiful pivot where she knows how to separate her lower and upper body, and that wave right there was a great example. She wiggled through a series of backhand snaps. The judges will eat that up. That's a great start for Coco.
Whoa.
And here is the power from wave selection right here. Courtney Conlogue, amazing. She's always tapped into the ocean, isn't she? She makes sure she's on the set waves. And that is going to be huge in terms of the judges really settling in on a big number. It's very easy when you're on a wave that's twice as good as everyone else in terms of height and shape. So that's going to be a really big blow to the system there for the other two surfers hearing a score when it drops from Courtney.
Bronte had a second wave as well and put her board on rail. So a pretty decent start.
You might as well be aggressive.
Well, here we go. This is Courtney. She was aggressive on her first wave. The number's still coming through from the judges, but this is another good-looking wave for the current world number 2, who took a victory down there at Bells Beach. And she is on the attack again here, surfing with a lot of power. She kicks out there on the inside as the wave reels off. But solid numbers falling. 7.5 for Coco Ho on her first wave. And the way Coco Ho's surfing, you'd think she'd be a lot higher on the ratings than where she currently finds herself in 16th position and hasn't been past the second round this year. Shocking.
And it really is. I absolutely love the way Coco surfs, and I'm happy to see that they rewarded her for that last wave. It was a little on the smaller side, but you can see almost matching Courtney's wave, despite the fact that Courtney's wave was almost double in size. And right here, 7.5, beautiful opening snap. This is actually her second wave, so she's going to be having a pretty solid backup score. Unfortunately, that thing sizzled out, but not before she got that one nice hook. Backup score, we're waiting now for Courtney. I love her backhand surfing, Ronnie. You know, a lot of times on her forehand, you can see the way she's thinking on a wave, but on her backhand, she seems to be a little bit more of an artist. I feel like she's slightly more creative. And right here, just a couple of snaps. She had to keep that speed up on this wave.
Well, Bronte nabbed herself a 7.27. The judges loving that commitment to the rail. And Bronte has priority. She's currently in third position, chasing a 5.74 to get herself up into the lead. Coco in second needs a 5.51 at this stage to jump in first. And Courtney, she can improve her lead by bettering a 5. And here she is, a couple of big hits to get started. Just has great pace on the backhand here. And has her coach travelling to Fiji as well. Saw him in the lineup yesterday, Mark Richardson.
Which waves to choose, be smart out there. And what I love about what I'm seeing right now is how she is naturally responding to these sections. Right there, that's that torque we were talking about, Ronnie. I think she's just bottom turning and she's responding to this section and cracking the whip right there. A lot of spray flew off that second snap. So this should be a solid backup score, certainly better than her 5.
Ripping, especially when it gets big.
He is such a legend and very positive, and here we go.
Well, this is Courtney. Without priority at the moment, she just unleashes on that first section. just repeatedly bashing this wall down the line, and just takes the time to set up the inside track, but takes a fall in the white water there.
Big old maneuvers. Again, great wave quality. Her choice has been perfect out there. This snap is even better than that first one. Wang! Tons of spray out the back. And then the third one. Right there, she's thinking, all right, I'm definitely, you know, knocking on door of an excellent score. Just got a little fin released. That
the highest scoring ride of this heat so far, 17.5 minutes to go. And life's starting to get hard for Coco Ho and Bronte Macaulay. Coco chasing an 8.77 now, and Bronte is after a 9. And there hasn't been a decent set for a while. We're kind of due. And Bronte has priority. Let's see what she can do. She needs to get a big first turn here, and she's going to collect a 9-point ride. Nice combination of moves. And moving through to the inside, this one starts to reel off without her. It won't be a 9-point ride. Let's see what Coco can do. She's chasing an 8.77. Just puts a little bit too much into that move, as Courtney just drags her way into this tube and finds the exit. Very comfortable. Nice big roundhouse. Doesn't quite complete the rebound, but she is just having fun out there at the moment.
I don't think it's going to go into her top 2, but nice technique right here. Dragging her bum in the water, slowing down, wiping that speed off, and then she gets behind the curtain there. So pretty nice little tube. But the tide is on the rise right now, so it'll be a little more user-friendly.
Well, here we go. This is Coco, and with just under a minute remaining, she is chasing a big number. Really has to light this wall up, and unfortunately the wave shuts down. 50 seconds to go. Coco was after an 8.77 to make the jump from third to first, and she'll fall short there. Bronte Macaulay still has an opportunity out the back with priority, on the lookout for a 9-point ride.
Well, classic case of Coco possibly overthinking it a little bit. She had a couple of opportunities midway through this heat, and you can tell, you know, obviously she fell off. It may have been a case of hearing that second 8 drop from Courtney, just pushing a little too hard, and she got out of her comfort zone.
Courtney just looks so comfortable with all that speed. I think the equipment choice, spot on. Not sure if she's on a step up. It certainly looked a little longer, but just loading up and being able to put that board completely on rail without skipping out at all. She comfortably takes the win here. An 8-point ride on her first wave. Found a couple of decent backups, but eventually had her best scoring ride on her 4th wave, an 8.27, a heat score total of 16.27. She will make the jump